Sir David Attenborough turned 100 in May 2026. 100 years. And after an extraordinary lifetime of broadcasting, traveling, learning and teaching millions of people about our planet, he has remained remarkably engaged with the world around him. We might ask, what can we learn from his life about living well for longer? Now, I want to make something very clear. We cannot look at one person and say, this is why he lived to 100. Longevity is complicated. Our genes matter. Our environment matters. Our health, circumstances, medical care, and sometimes simple chance matter too. So this video is not about discovering David Attenborough's secret to living to 100. Instead, we are going to look at some things we can observe from his life, and then ask a different question. What does longevity science tell us about these things? Lesson 1. Keep a sense of purpose. David Attenborough did not simply reach a certain age and disappear from meaningful life. For decades, his work has had a clear purpose, helping people understand and appreciate the natural world. And that gives us our first lesson. Having something meaningful to get up for may matter as we grow older. Research has found associations between having a stronger sense of purpose and better health outcomes. That does not mean having a purpose guarantees a longer life. And your purpose does not have to be a television career. Purpose can be much simpler. Looking after grandchildren. Helping at church or in your community. Growing a garden. Supporting a friend. Learning something new. Volunteering. Creating something. Or simply knowing that somebody is looking forward to seeing you today. Growing older does not mean becoming useless. You still have something to give. Your experience, your presence, your encouragement, and your time can still matter deeply to someone else. Lesson 2. Stay curious. Think about what David Attenborough has spent much of his life doing. Observing. Asking questions. Learning. Exploring. And then explaining what he has discovered to other people. That requires curiosity. Our brains change as we grow older, but that does not mean we should stop challenging them. Activities that keep us mentally engaged may help support cognitive health. You don't need to study wildlife. You could learn a language. Read. Do puzzles. Learn to use new technology. Play an instrument. Take up a hobby. Have interesting conversations. Or learn something completely outside your comfort zone. The important message is simple. Don't retire your curiosity. You may retire from your job, but you don't have to retire from learning. Lesson 3. Stay connected with the world around you. For David Attenborough, that connection has famously included the natural world, forests, oceans, animals, plants and extraordinary landscapes across our planet. Most of us will never travel to all the places he has visited. Fortunately, we don't need to. Research suggests that spending time in green spaces and natural environments is associated with benefits for our health and well-being. And nature can be surprisingly close. A local park. Your garden. Trees on your street. A walk beside a river. Listening to birds. Or simply sitting outside for a few minutes. This isn't a magic treatment for aging. But getting outside can encourage us to move, relax and engage with the world around us. Sometimes, one healthy habit supports another. Lesson 4. Keep moving. You cannot talk about healthy aging without talking about movement. Physical activity is one of the strongest things we can recommend based on evidence. It supports heart health. It helps maintain muscle and strength. It supports bone health and balance. It can improve mental well-being. And importantly, it can help us stay independent for longer. But movement does not have to mean spending hours in a gym. Walking counts. Dancing counts. Gardening counts. Climbing stairs counts. Strength exercises are especially important as we grow older because we naturally lose muscle with age. The goal is not to exercise like a 20-year-old. The goal is to keep doing what your body can safely do, and gradually build from there. Lesson 5. Keep contributing. There is something interesting about people who remain engaged later in life. They often continue to contribute. David Attenborough's work has educated and inspired generations. But contribution does not require fame. You can contribute to one person's life. You can encourage someone. Teach a younger person something you know. Share your experience. Volunteer. Help your family. Or simply phone someone who might otherwise spend the day alone. One of the biggest mistakes we can make as a society is assuming that growing older means having less value. Experience has value. Wisdom has value. Presence has value. You do not have to be famous to leave something meaningful behind. But there is something important we must not forget. It is tempting to look at somebody who reaches 100 and copy their lifestyle. But science does not work like that. One person is not a clinical trial. We cannot say that David Attenborough reached 100 because he had purpose, because he loved nature, or because he stayed curious. Those are observations. What we can do is compare those observations with what larger studies tell us about healthy aging. And several themes repeatedly appear in the evidence: regular physical activity, maintaining strength, not smoking, eating a nutritious diet, managing blood pressure and other cardiovascular risks, getting adequate sleep, maintaining social relationships, staying mentally engaged, and having meaning and purpose in our lives. None of these can guarantee that we will live to 100. But they can help us improve our chances of living healthier lives for longer. So perhaps the real question isn't simply, how can I live to 100? A better question might be, if I am fortunate enough to live a long life, how can I remain as healthy, independent, curious, and engaged as possible? Because longevity isn't only about adding years to life. It's about adding life to those years. And that is what makes Sir David Attenborough's story so interesting. Not simply that he reached 100, but that his life gives us an opportunity to think about what it means to continue learning, contributing and engaging with the world as we grow older. We cannot know what made one person live so long. But we can ask what their life can teach us about living well for longer. So, what can we learn from Sir David Attenborough at 100? Keep moving. Stay curious. Stay connected. Find purpose. And keep contributing. Which of these 5 lessons matters most to you? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoy practical, evidence-based conversations about healthy aging and longevity, please subscribe and join me for the next one. Until next time, add life to your years.